Ooh, pass back to Zanev as he tried to play. Uh-oh. This is bad. This is extremely poor. Oh, my God. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Get that out. Fuck. It was only a matter of time. It was a pass back there from... yeah, it was a wayward one there from McCormick as he tried to play Hennigan, but it went past Hennigan, and then Zanev tried to come out, play sweeper-keeper, tried to play Hennigan, who hooked out towards the touchline. And then it was Asa who ended up picking it up. Asa took a couple of touches toward the 18-yard box, laid it off. And now on the right-hand side, here's Corbino beats Guinness Walker for pace, and Guinness Walker brings him down. Guinness Walker's already in the book. And it wasn't in a... No, he's not in the book. Never mind. He gets booked now. Okay. Oh. Oh, never mind. It's a double fucking yellow. Oh, my God. I don't... I mean, yeah, Corbino was breaking for pace, but Nesta has only fouled him to... It was a genuine attempt at winning the ball. I don't agree with that at all. Paul Osu with the throw. Cleared away. Oh, shit, Alexander! Oh, my God. Dude, that man just freaking walloped a shot, and it was just 1 yard wide of the post. That would have been top bins. It was a header away from O'Hora. It wasn't convincing, and then Alexander just wallops the fucking shot, and it almost ends up top bins. Oh, man. Inches. Inches, boys. Oh, man. Mixed emotions, mixed emotions. I can already tell you guys right now that my post-match reaction when I upload that to YouTube, it's going to be a bit controversial, especially with the Facebook group, like I said. They tend to be a little pessimistic. But honestly, I'm happy with the performance. I think this is a complete far cry from the performance that we had against Boreham Wood. You know, towards the middle part of the second half, they started to sit back a little bit and invite pressure and allow the likes of Corbino, who switched from the right-hand side, right-hand side to the left-hand side, is a little bit more dangerous, cutting on that right right foot. But I still think Paul Osu did pretty well after he came on for McCormick in that first half after he got injured. I think Osu did very well against Corbino. And Nesta Guinness Walker had a bit of trouble against Corbino before he got the double yellow. I think the second yellow was a bit harsh, but other than that, I think AFC Wimbledon played pretty well defensively throughout the game. On the attacking side of things, I think every once in a while we got a little too predictable. First 20 minutes, you know, we were buzzing off the ball movement, Rodoni making runs and then cutting to the middle, and you know, McCormick starting on the attacking mid, making runs, hooking out wide, and I think we did very well. You know, on the runs off the ball. Didn't have a really clear-cut chance in that first half. Played a couple of decent crosses in. I still think that a Sal at striker/center forward does not work. I think, you know, half the time that we played it forward on the hold-up, it was intended for a Sal, and a Sal just got shrugged off pretty easily by the likes of Darling and Lewington. And eventually it didn't pan out, so we brought on Egli Kaja, who played as a makeshift striker until Cosgrave came on, and then Kaja dropped it back to play as an attacking mid. And, you know, it would have been nice to see Aaron Cosgrave maybe start today, or Dapo Mabure starting today, but that means that Sal wouldn't have been on the game, or wouldn't have been on the team sheet to start with. But, you know, Asal is always a monumental player for us when he plays at cam, but at striker, he looks a little out of his element, really. Every once in a while, you see a run being made from him. We did see that in the first half where he made an incisive run, and Hennigan played him through, but he was offside, and the keeper saved it anyway. But that was the only instance in which Asal got in behind, and Palmer, to be fair, won a lot of the aerial battles, won a lot of the knockdowns, had the better of O'Hora in the aerial battles. He kind of struggled a little bit, but Darling and Lewington for MK Dons played pretty well. Yeah, I think the first 20 minutes too, Woodyard and Hardigan pressing a lot, helping the outside backs, Guinness Walker and Ben Hennigan, well, the outside center backs really, helping them on the double team and filling the gaps whenever Guinness Walker and Hennigan put the press on. And I think they played pretty well defensively. Offensively, we were a little predictable towards the end and didn't create too many chances, but I think this was much better than last time, and I think we're seeing some positives. I think the Robbo outcries are too early. Even after the last Boreham Wood game, I still thought that Robinson is, the right man for the job, at least for the season. Stick with him, and we'll ride it out. I do think that the Dons did enough to deserve, I'd say, a 0-0. I'd say this was a 0-0 written all over it. Maybe not. I think MK Dons were a little bit more. They were a little bit more convincing in the final third, and they had a couple of decent chances. One with Twine, who was able to weave his way around two defenders and get a shot low and hard, but Zanev saved it. Other than that, we kept Twine pretty quiet, and I think we did pretty well overall defensively to keep Twine at bay. Corbineau is a bit of a threat. Harvey coming up on the attacking side every now and again, but I think a 0-0 would have been the deserved result. But if you were to have a gun point on my head, I think Milton Keynes should have won over at AFC Wimbledon if a team were to have won. All right, it's that time of the video again where I take a look at some comments from the Facebook group, from the Twitter, etc. I want to highlight the ones that I deem the most intriguing and the ones that are worth putting in this video. I can already tell you that there may be a few negative comments considering that we played against MK and they wanted a result, but like I said, I still think the Dons did enough to not lose. They didn't do enough to win, certainly, but you got to consider too, we went down a man after 30 minutes and we were still able to keep it pretty competitive. I just wish that we were consistent, we could keep this up, game in and game out. But anyway, let's get on to the comments. Before I get into the comments, actually, I saw this video from Alex Ramsden. Obviously, I was watching the game through iFollow. That chance towards the end of the game where Rodoni had a through ball played over the top from Hardigan, it's definitely not a penalty from the player that won the ball, but the player that ended up trampling over him, which was O'Hora. Maybe enough for a pen there. Yeah, that's just one of those judgment calls that the referee could have if he saw the challenge there from O'Hora. I think it could be enough on the book, by the book for a penalty, but wait a minute. I'm seeing another video in which is actually a more clear penalty than the other one. I failed to see that he actually got freaking nailed by number 30. And also, even O'Hora was dragging him down too. I didn't see that the first time, and that looked to me like, yeah, I could see that as a penalty. That's a penalty. That's more of a penalty than the other challenge that I was looking at. I can already tell you just from looking at the comments, very divisive. Fans are either on one half, hey, let's take some positives. On the other half, oh, we were shit, we were this, we were that. Let me try to see if I can make sense of this. First, we have a positive comment here from James Bruce. Oddly, we didn't actually play badly. Some decent performances. Will, Hennigan, Woodyard, Rodoni, etc. But giving away a soft as fuck goal and then having a player sent off is idiotic. A terrible week of football. Let us never speak of it again. Never happened. But not too much analysis on why he thought they played well. Just saying that they played well. I think the players that he noted, Will Nightingale, very solid all game. Hennigan, decent defensive shape. Woodyard, he was all over the pitch. Rodoni making off the ball runs, and every now and again he tried to take someone on. Now we got Alistair Hibbard. Pleased to see our squad play with a bit of character this evening, particularly in the second half. A couple of potential penalties later on in which, yep, I just noticed now on there that were really frustrating not to go our way. I don't get to tune in every week, but NGW seems like a liability almost every time I watch. Can't question his work ethic, but sloppy. So in my live stream, I was talking about how NGW has improved a little bit with his overall defensive positioning, but every game it seems like he has one or two moments in which he lets his mark slip through, whether it's a through ball in which he's out of position, or if there's a pacey winger that he overcommits a little bit and then the winger takes a touch around him. He has one of those every now and again, and he did have that on his first yellow card. The second yellow card I think was a bit harsh, considering that he slightly mistimed and actually got a little bit of a nick on the ball too. Now that I look back at it on iFollow, I didn't see it the first time. I missed quite a bit, actually. I apologize. But yeah, I think he is a bit of a liability at times. I don't think he's a terrible outside back, but he just has those moments every once in a while in which he gives those up. And I think Paul Ostu actually played pretty well today. Early in the season, he did kind of struggle a little bit with marking, but he's really shaped up to be more consistent outside back now than even Guinness Walker is at this rate. So I think also over Guinness Walker, maybe Ch Alexander play as an outside back, and we're good to go. Kevin Johnson, relegation zone come 4.50 Saturday. A couple of comments here. One from Paul Sawyer. Keep the faith, better performance tonight. Response from Joel Hockey. Can't have been that good if we didn't test their keeper, question mark. Okay, so maybe you could explain how no goal scored, hardly a shot on goal, and gifted goal to the opposition constitute a better performance. With respect, fuck the performance. It's points we need. I'd rather they bloody hoofed it and made the bloody net bulge. Me too, but you're missing the point. It's all about development and process. Yeah, change that record, please. It's scratched to fuck and boring as hell. Been hearing the same shit for too many seasons now. Too many wishy-washy, tippy-tappy youngsters with no heart and aggression. Balance it. Okay. Yeah, very negative outlook here. We need some old-school warriors to educate. To be fair, when you think of AFC Wimbledon, you think of old-school football. You think of those hard-nosed. You think of the crazy gang. You think of players that get stuck into challenges, and honestly, I think we're seeing two sides of the coin. We're not seeing a middle ground here. And typically with AFC Wimbledon fans, they're very passionate and very opinionated. You don't really see too much of a middle ground. And I'm more on the, for me, I'm more on the positive, optimistic side, and that I think we're in a good direction right now, and that we're adapting to how football is evolving. You know, back in the day, football was a lot of hoofing the ball upfield, and I think we, Wimbledon FC, they truly thrived in that department when they were in the Premiership. But I think the level of football has truly evolved since then, and I truly think the way that we're going right now, it's a good idea on paper, but we're prioritizing youth too much. We need a couple of players, we need a couple of veterans that could stick it out and get stuck in a challenge, and even young players that are willing to get stuck in a challenge. But we need a couple of veterans. We need to balance out our average age group a little bit more. And then Stuart Stone, we were awful all over. No link up with strikers from the midfield. Why did we get a striker from Fulham if he doesn't even get on the pitch when we're chasing games? I do agree that Ablade not being on the bench was a bit surprising to me. I don't have too much intel on Ablade as a player, but I found it surprising he wasn't even on the team sheet. So I agree in that respect. I don't think we were awful all over per se. Like I said, on the offensive end, every now and again, we were a little too predictable. In that first half, though, we didn't always play sideways passing. Every now and again, we saw Woodyard playing a through ball to Alexander. We saw a couple runs being made, through ball from Hardigan or Woodyard to Rodoni to McCormick, who got a cross off and just over the head of Rodoni at one point in the first half. So I think the biggest issue right now is not necessarily about where we stand in the dressing room, where we stand with our chemistry, with the desire, the heart. I think the players do still have that desire and the heart, and they want to get results. They want to do the best that they can. The issue now is surrounding the uncertainty that we have now with the formation. One up top, 4-2-3-1 was working. It used to work early in the season, but teams are adapting now. And I feel like we as a club, with a lot of youngsters, players that are inexperienced, it's not working. And we need to change it up. We need to put two up top, have Terry Ablade or even Aaron Cosgrave, play alongside Ollie Palmer up top. And maybe have a Sal coming off the bench like he did before last season. I know he probably wouldn't prefer that, but if we were to play a two up top, that's what needs to be done, right? We need to take a center mid out, and we have a Sal, Rodoni, McCormick, Woodyard, and Hardigan to choose from, and I would say perhaps a Sal. If we were to play a 4-3-2-1, maybe play Woodyard and Hardigan as the holders, and maybe Rodoni as a holder as well, McCormick as a cam, and play two up top. I think we need to try that out, especially against a somewhat leaky Morecambe defense. They tend to give up goals every now and again. We need to try something different. And I think next game is the perfect time to try out that two up front. And that'll be it for this video, for the analysis of the game as well as the comment section and different perspectives from different fans. I am a little bit more on the positive side, but at the same time I try to see a middle ground. I'm a little bit more of a not conservative centrist, I should say positive, optimistic centrist, in which I still think Rob was the right man for the job for this season, but we need to change our outlook a little bit in regards to branching out to a little bit more experience And, we might not have enough money in the transfer market to get someone that's experienced that can provide the quality. But I still think we should go for somebody that's maybe not championship level, but League One, League Two level with the experience. That a player that could help the youth out towards the latter half of the season, and maybe even next season. We sign him for a 2-year contract. Boom. And utilize our strikers more. That's all I got to say. That being said, thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one.